All right. Well, let's talk a little bit more about Ortho-K because I think it's an amazing technology, like you've described a little bit there. The way I kind of think about Ortho-K is like you're putting these lenses, these contact lenses, into your eyes before you go to bed, before you go to sleep, and
Yep.
then overnight it kind of acts the same way as like my daughter. She wears like braces, like a dental, retainer, and they kind of straighten her teeth overnight. Ortho-K lenses work a little bit the same way on your cornea, don't they?
Yeah, and because the corneal tissue is just like skin, effectively, it's just a very specialized type of skin. It's a lot more flexible than our teeth. So you wear braces, then you get a very slow, hopefully not a rebound effect. Whereas with the eye, you're getting this temporary sort of flattening of the skin on the front of the eye, and it's much like if you wear, watch, jewelry, our clothes might leave a small mark on our skin. It doesn't hurt to have that done. We don't really feel it happening. The mark that is left by those things takes a very short time to create, but takes a long time to kind of bounce back to shape. We're just taking effect of that when we use a lens on the front of the eye. So effectively, where the cornea is the main thing that changes the optics, is the main lens of our system, and so it's very curved, and so it only takes small changes in the shape of this to make a big impact on how the light's focused at the back of the eye. And so we use lenses that are specially shaped on the back of the eye to just gently flatten the front of the eye while you sleep, and that rebound back to its normal shape can take a couple of days. And so we're able to get at least a daytime of being able to see clearly once we take the lens out in the morning. You wear it every night to every sort of second night as an adult. As kids, with kids for myopia control, we say we'll wear it every night. But some adults might get every second night and still maintain pretty good vision, even on the days that it's kind of skipped.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds too good to be true. It's one of those things that a lot of people don't believe. I've got my practice is now 21 years old, and we were one of the first practices on the Gold Coast doing Ortho-K, and I've still got patients from back when we started, and I've got one of them who says, "I tell everyone, but it sounds too good to be true." They just don't believe me that it's you know that it can work like that, but it is really simple in theory. There are some complex mathematics behind it, but it's a lens that you put on and sleep, and then when you sleep, and then when you take it off, you've got that impact and effect. I mean, I guess we need to be careful. It's not for everyone. We need to make sure that your prescription range is in the one that we know kind of works, and there are other eye health things that we need to check. But it's one of our great tools for people looking for something other than glasses. If they find contact lenses during the day uncomfortable, they can still be a candidate for Ortho-K because you're only wearing the lens while you sleep. It's not impacting on dryness during the day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So a lot of people who find that contact lenses generally, like daytime contact lenses, aren't for them because they do have dry eyes. Ortho-K might be a great alternative because you're literally only putting them in overnight and taking them out when you wake up, right?
Absolutely, and that's what led me down the path of wearing it myself, and that's how I got interested in actually doing it. I had a colleague who was getting interested in it in the early days, and he said, "Oh, would you like to try them?" And I said, "Sure, great." And it was a way of I was surfing a lot back in those days, and not comfortable in regular contact lenses all the time, and certainly glasses are a bit of a nuisance. So it allowed me to get back into cycling and surfing and other activities without having a lens and without having the dryness.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And swimming with contact lenses is problematic in itself, isn't it?
absolutely. And basically, you've got the higher risk of bacteria sticking to the
Yeah.
contact lens, and so you need to be very cautious around that.
So what sort of age ranges are we looking at here who would be good candidates for Ortho-K or orthokeratology?
Look, it's a funny space at the moment too, because we started out fitting adults, and it was a product that was for grown-ups, and when I now have parents asking if they can have it because we're fitting a lot of kids and teens with it, and so
Mm.
I'm going, well, actually it started out as a product for adults and then became a great tool for myopia control. And you know there are they do show that if we put Ortho-K as a special kind of contact lens, and then we look at the contact lens sphere generally, kids are actually quite good with contact lenses, and in fact have a better go of it than young adults. Your sort of high risk group for infections are the 19 to 25-year-olds. In the teenagers and kids tend to be a lot more responsible. There's a lot more parental supervision, so they can actually be very good contact lens candidates. So certainly teenage years is relatively straightforward. We've got kids as young as 6 or 7 wearing Ortho-K. But they've got to be ready and a willing participant as part of that. So we're not going to fit it to every 6 or 7-year-old, but that could be as young as that to a motivated child, and they understand what they're doing it for. And that typically is about where we start.
That's probably the only caveat, I think, with Ortho-K, isn't it? That like there is like you do have to have a commitment to cleaning, like a daily cleaning regime.
Absolutely.
So it's not like it's not like the daily disposables where you just throw them in the garbage and pick out a new pair. So you really do have to take care of them and be sort of mature enough to stick to that.
Absolutely. And you look at all contact lenses carry a slight increase in risk in eye infection compared to just wearing glasses. And those risks are quite small. A lot of them are around water and dirty cases. And so, sticking to hygiene and sticking to the rules about avoiding water with your contact lens is the number one thing. But yes, with Ortho-K, you're having to clean and look after it. And again, children typically, develop good habits that are being supervised compared to young adults sometimes.